Are There Werewolves in the Bible, Part 4. If you have not seen Part 1 through 3 already, go back and check them out now for context, because you're going to get lost. Now, where we last left off at on Part 3 was we reached the conclusion that Ishmael, firstborn son of Abraham, is a were-like creature, but is not necessarily a werewolf. So you might be asking, what type of were-like creature is he? Well, to answer that, we have to go back to the scene in which Haggard flees from Sarah's face. You see, Haggard is visited by an angel, right? And the angel finds her in the wilderness, near a fountain in the way of Shur. Now, Shur is a desert near Kadesh and Egypt, and on the way to Assyria. The angel that comes and brings the divine revelation to Haggard is Azazel. Azazel is one of the leaders of the Watchers, the angels who God appointed to watch over mankind. And if you read the book of Enoch, if you read the Old Testament, you'll see that where the Watchers went wrong was that they began to allow man to worship them, and they started to do the boom boom dance with the ladies and created these hybrid beings, these genetic or spiritual anomalies known as the Nephilim, which translates to the fallen or the fallen ones. To gain a better understanding of who Azazel is, we have to break down the translation of Azazel's name. You see, Azazel's name has dual meanings. Azazel translates to the scapegoat of God. However, Azazel also translates to the one strengthened by God. You see, in Judaism, there is a ritual which takes place every year, and this ritual is known as the ritual of the Day of Atonement. And in this ritual, what happens is that one goat would be sacrificed to the Godhead, right? Sacrificed to Yahweh, whereas the other goat, all the sins of the people would be transferred unto this goat, and this goat would be taken out to the wilderness and released, sent unto Azazel. See, you have to understand what it means to be sent unto Azazel. To be sent unto Azazel meant that you were a reject. You were seen as an abomination, as a mistake. And so in order to fix or right this error, they'd cast you out. You see, in antiquity, long ago, these goats, they were people. And we see this same ritual transpire and take place over and over and over again in the Old Testament, beginning at first with Cain and Abel. Abel is the breath or the spirit of God, who is a shepherd. And Cain is an acquirer, a possessor, whose area of profession is tilling the earth. He's a farmer. They're both instructed to offer up a sacrifice. Abel offers up the first of his flock. Cain offers up fruit, grass, herbs. After all, he's a fucking farmer. What else is he going to offer up? But Abel offering up the first of his flock is symbolic, right? Because before you're able to lead anybody else, right? That's what shepherds do. They lead. Before you're able to lead anybody else, who do you have to be able to lead first? Yeah, that's right. Ding, 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 ding. Yourself. And so when he offered up the first of his flock, he offered himself up as an offering. And his offering was accepted, and Cain's was rejected, because Yahweh likes blood offerings. You see, this is why Abel, if you look him up, he's known as the first martyr, because he gave his life up, right? Symbolic, right? By offering up the firstling of his flock. And so Abel is accepted. Cain is rejected. He's the first reject, the first scapegoat, the first to be sent unto Azazel. And this same pattern transpires over and over and over again. We see the same thing transpire, right? Over and over again. It happens between Ishmael, firstborn son of Abraham, and Isaac, secondborn son of Abraham. You see, once Sarah is able to give birth, right, and conceive, she then later on calls for Abraham to cast Ishmael and his mom out. Talking about this one won't share he's not going to share the throne with my son, or share and reap the blessings that my son will. And so he gets cast out. Reject. God mentions that he's not establishing the covenant with him, right? God rejects him. Says, look, I'm going to still bless him, but I'm not establishing the covenant with him. And then the same thing happens again with the next example. When Isaac gets older, right, just before he dies, right, he winds up losing his vision, right? He's blind. He's an old man in bed, right? He's blind, right? But he winds up having two sons, right? And they're twins. But one comes out before the other one. His name is Esau, right? And the other brother's name is Jacob. Let's take a look at the descriptions of Esau. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red, all over like a hairy garment. And they called his name Esau. And look, lo and behold, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field. And Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. So Esau would dwell in the fields or dwell in nature, like Cain did, the tiller of the earth. Just like Ishmael did, he dwelt in the wilderness. I remember this same pattern, right, of one goat belonging to Yahweh and the other one being sent to Azazel repeats over and over again. You see, just before Isaac dies, he asks Esau, right, hey, go out in the yard and, kill an animal for me, right? Fetch me some game, right? And prepare it for me so that I can give you a blessing. Because Isaac favored Esau. But Rebekah, right, Esau and Jacob's mother, she favored Jacob and she wanted for Jacob to get the blessing. And so she conspired with Jacob to steal the blessing intended for Esau. She prepared 2 goats for Jacob and told Jacob, look, you're going to bring this to your father and give it to him so that he can give you a blessing. And Jacob says this to her, well, how will we fool my father, right? For my brother Esau is a hairy man, but I'm a smooth man. And so they put on these fucking wool-like gloves on him and put on like a mop around his like face so that his face feels hairy and shit. And they pull it off and steal the fucking blessing intended for Esau. So you see, Esau gets rejected. Jacob receives the blessing, and Esau is left with a fucking shitty blessing. It's like, hey, dog, I'm sorry. I don't really have no more blessings for you. You're going to work hard for the rest of your life, etc., etc. Now, let's discuss what type of were-like creature these guys are, Ishmael and Esau. If you practice left-hand path magic, then you know that Azazel is one of the highest deific masks of Satan. You see, Azazel is leader of a band of demons, and these demons are known as the Sa'adim. You know what this translates to? Hairy ones, billy goats, satyrs. So you see, this is the type of were-like creature that I believe Esau and Ishmael both to be of. The Sa'adim, they're satyrs, which are a type of were-like creature. So this here concludes this series. Like, comment, and share. Let me know in the comments what y'all think. I appreciate y'all for staying tuned. Y'all be easy.